Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to talk about prepositional phrases. If you are looking for extra notes, all of this material is found on page 66 in your textbook. First, let's get a definition for prepositional phrases. A prepositional phrase always starts with a preposition and ends with the next noun. The noun that ends a prepositional phrase is called the object of the preposition. That's important. The object of the preposition. We said before that phrases are groups of words that act like a particular part of speech, and so a prepositional phrase acts either like an adjective or an adverb. I know it's been a little while since we've talked about prepositions. Here they are. Remember these? There were lots of them. Remember, we even had a special way to remember basic types of prepositions. Do you remember the cat and the box? This cat and this box. The cat can be in the box, behind the box, under the box, over the box, by the box, with the box. With the box? Yes, she can be with the box. If you need a refresher in prepositions, they're in your textbook. You might want a list of prepositions nearby as we go through the rest of this material. Ladies and gentlemen, here are some examples. Let's start just by identifying the prepositional phrases. The first sentence reads like this. Sometimes I hide toy dragons on the pantry shelf by the box of Oreo cookies. So when we are looking for prepositional phrases, the first thing we are going to do is look for prepositions. In this sentence, I notice that the word on is a preposition. We wrote down before that a prepositional phrase ends with the next noun. So I look for the next noun, which in this case is the word shelf. So the entire prepositional phrase is on the pantry shelf. That's nice. I notice right here that the word by is also a preposition. I look for the next noun, which happens to be the word box. So my other prepositional phrase is by the box. I also notice that the word of is a preposition. And Oreo cookies is indeed a noun. So here is a prepositional phrase that says of Oreo cookies. The next sentence reads like this. One day I found that the dragons had escaped by tunneling under the house and had gone to burn and pillage stuff. But the neighbor girl in the blue dress stopped them because they are only toys. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen. I see the word by, and when I look back at my list of words, I see that the word by is a prepositional phrase. Now this is a little advanced, but that's okay. In this case, tunneling is actually acting as a noun, even though it looks like a verb, so just go with it for now. I won't put any of those on your test, but just so you know. So we have this prepositional phrase, by tunneling. Under is also a preposition. House is the next noun, so we have under the house. Now, we have a trick one here, because you will notice back in your list that the word to is a preposition. Here it is, to. To. Now, the word to is a little bit tricky, because to can do a variety of things. One of them happens to be acting as a preposition, but it can also start an infinitive phrase. We'll talk about infinitives later, but here's what you need to know. When you see the word to, you have to look at the word that's right next to it. In this case, the word burn. If the word right next to it, if the word right next to it is a verb, then the word to is not acting as a preposition. So in this case, to burn is actually an infinitive phrase, not a prepositional phrase. That is important. Down here I have the word in. Dress is the next noun, so in the blue dress is also a prepositional phrase. Now the last sentence reads like this. Now they are next door eating tea and biscuits with the My Little Ponies. With, according to our chart, is a preposition. My Little Ponies, this is a noun, it is a proper noun. So the entire prepositional phrase is with the My Little Ponies. We said at the beginning that prepositional phrases act like adjectives and adverbs, which means that you need to remember what adjectives and adverbs are. Adjectives modify nouns and pronouns. Adjectives modify nouns and pronouns. Adverbs modify verbs, adjectives, and other adverbs. This is really basic stuff. You need to know right off the top of your head. Adjectives modify nouns, pronouns. Adverbs modify verbs, adjectives, and other adverbs. If you don't have that, pound it into your brain until it's there. This is going to be really hard if you don't remember the definition for adjectives and adverbs because of what we're going to do next. For this unit, not only do you have to identify the prepositional phrases, but you also have to identify how they're acting. Are they acting as adjectives or adverbs? And the only way to figure out if they are acting as adjectives or adverbs is by figuring out what words they modify. If it's an adjective, it will modify a noun. If it's an adverb, it will modify a verb, an adjective, or another adverb. So, let's go through some of this. I have already underlined all the prepositional phrases from before, so all I'm going to do is draw arrows to the word being modified. So here we go. In the first one, on the pantry shelf actually describes the word hide. It tells me where I am hiding them. By the box is also telling us where we are hiding them. Of Oreo cookies, it tells us what kind of box. What kind of box is it? It is a box of Oreo cookies. A box of Oreo cookies. So, here's what I've got. This word is a verb. That makes this an adverb phrase. That makes this, because it is also describing a verb, an adverb phrase. But this, because box here is a noun, that makes this an adjective phrase. Okay, let's get rid of some of those arrows. Okay, down here, by tunneling tells us how they escaped. Under the house also tells us how they escaped. Escaped is a verb, which makes by tunneling an adverb phrase, and under the house is also an adverb phrase. In the blue dress tells us which girl we are talking about. We're not talking about the girl with the pigtails. We are not talking about the girl on the bicycle. We are talking about the girl in the blue dress. So in the blue dress modifies the word girl. And because girl is a noun, that makes this an adjective phrase. Last one. With the My Little Ponies tells us with whom they are eating. Like this. Eating is a verb. It's something that you do, which means that with the My Little Ponies is acting as an adverb phrase. Okay, there's a lot there. Sometimes this gets a little confusing. This is something we'll probably have to go over in class. There's a few tips and tricks, but I'll explain those in person because the tips and tricks don't work all of the time. Anyway, if you got some questions, come find me. But that is prepositional phrases.